Hey guys, I'm back, and this is going to be episode 2 of the Bannerlord modding tutorial, and we're going to go over how to get started making a custom world map. And at the same time, I'm going to be doing one of my friends, the Knight of the Black Rose, a favor of the Realms Forgotten mod, and get him kind of on the right track to start his own custom world map. So we've loaded the modding tools. So the first thing you need to do is make your module. To do that, you go into your editor. Once you get into the editor, you go to File, and then you go to Create New Module. We're gonna just call it, since his mod's called Realms Forgotten, I'm just gonna say RF map. So we're going to name this module RF-map, create. Once you create it, you can't really do anything with it yet because it's not been activated. So then you just want to X out, get out of your modding tools, go into, now go back into your modding tools and activate that module. Well, first of all, okay, before we go back in there, let's go ahead and just get it kind of set up. You go into your Bannerlord directory. If you go into the modules, you'll now see we have an RF map module. We're going to go ahead and go in here. Just kind of see there's nothing in this folder. I believe there's nothing in any folder right now, except for, there's nothing in any of anything in there. In the module data, it'll have a bunch of empty XML folders. We'll go ahead and just erase all these. Go ahead and just get rid of all those empty XML files. And that's pretty much it. So it's completely empty now. So now we can go ahead. Now we're ready to go into back into the Bannerlord modding tools. We want to make sure that we go activate our RF map module. Here we go. Let's go ahead. Okay, now that we're back into the modding tools, the next thing we need to do is go ahead and go back into our editor, and we need to get a map saved to our new module. To do that, we want to just load, for right now, of course, we're not going to go into create a completely custom map, but what we're going to do this video is we're going to save the native map to our new module, and we're going to just add one new, city to the map. It may not be the place he wants to, but he can always go in it later and move it or do whatever. I'm gonna go through all the process to put it where you need to in this video. So what we need to do is File, open a scene. We want to open another scene. We don't want to save this scene because it's not a scene. And then we need to go back to our modules. And I believe it is in Sandbox, I think. Once you go into Sandbox, you want to go to scene object folder. Now we just want to scroll down until we find the main map folder. I believe it's in here, so I think we're in the right spot. Yeah, here we are. We're in the main map. Once you get to the main map folder, you want to go inside, and this scene X scene right here, this is the file you want to open up the native map. I'm in Bannerlord 1.7.1 right now. It should be the same for any version. It seems like it's exact same process. So there you go. Once we get that selected, we'll go to open. This will open the native map. It may take a little while you see, now that we're into the native map, here we go. It's in here. What we want to do now is we want to go ahead and save this. Save scene as. And for the purposes of making a custom map right now, you need to rename it as modded, in this exact format, modded main map, for it to work with the Aurelia map fix module that allows you to have a custom height map and right now. So in order to completely delete this terrain, And for the new terrain height to register, you'll have to be for at this point in time you have to use the Aurelia map fix module. You could build that DLL into your DLL into your own module if you want to, but I still just have it, as a separate module. So there we go. Once you get the scene named modded main map, you hit OK, and we want to make sure we save it to RF map. So let's go ahead and save it to RF map, hit OK. It takes a little minute for this thing to get saved, but once it gets saved, you'll get you a little uh, notification down here at the bottom says scene file modded, main map saved successfully. So now what we want to do is let's go ahead and get our XML stuff set up. So we want to get out of the mod tools again. So let's go ahead and we done saved it, so you don't need to save it again. So we'll go ahead and just get completely out of the mod tools. Now we'll go back to our modules, and we'll go back to our RF map module. So now that we're in here, we'll see what it added to this. So the places that changed now that we've saved to this module, it will be in the, I'm pretty sure it didn't save any XML, so that's something to notice. You're going to need a settlements XML. So we're going to have to add that. But if you go to scene edit data, you now have a backup folder, and you have a modded main map terrain bin right here. So that's in the scene edit data, and in the scene object data, you have a backup folder, and you have a modded main map with everything saved. And here is your scene file right here that's been saved to your new module. So everything's successfully saved to it, but now we need to have the actual, data stored for all our settlements and stuff on our main map, and that is located in the settlements XML. So what we need to do is we need to go back into our modules, and we need to go into our sandbox, the native sandbox folder, go into module data, and now we want to make a copy of this settlements XML to put in our new module. So now that we got a copy of it, we'll go back to our RF map, go into the module data, and we'll paste it in here. So there you go. Now all the data, the settlement data coordinates, owners, all that good stuff's in this XML. But there's one other thing that will make your life a whole lot easier. We need to have a XSLT that completely deletes out all the native settlement data. So once you edit this data in this settlements XML, it will be the only data that's applied in game. So to do that, we're going to go into my map that I've already got created, the realm, and we'll go into the modules data, and there's a settlements XSLT. Now I'm just going to click in here. It's really simple file. We're just going to look at it real fast. Okay, we're just going to look right here in this settlements XSLT. It's set up where everything in a XML named settlements.xml, it's gonna right here, it kind of explains it a little bit right here. If you say right here, it says emit XML declaration, yes. So it's gonna, anything that is a settlement in a settlements XML, it's gonna delete all the data for. This is pretty much the whole code, everything you need right there to do that. So what we want to do is, I'm going to go ahead and click out of this. Let's go ahead and copy this settlements XSLT. We'll go put it also in our RF map module. And there you go. One more step we need to do. It don't matter what you put in, what kind of XMLs or XSLTs you put into your module, you still got to have the nodes in the sub module. So if we go into our sub module, let's kind of just check it out, what's going on right now. Okay, so we might as well do some changes while we're in here. It's still saying 1.5.2, so let's go ahead and change this to 1.7.1. We don't this in this XML node, we don't need the items, we don't need the cultures, we don't need the NPC characters, we don't need the party templates, the kingdoms, the factions, none of this stuff. but we do need the settlements. So let's delete out everything but the settlements. So right now we have the settlements from a XML called settlements. This will be sufficient for reading that XSLT. But the way we have things set up right now, let's go back in here. Both of these are called settlement XML. One of them's a settlements XML, one of them's a settlements XLT. So that XLT will delete all the settlement data from native that's in the sandbox module, and it'll also delete all the settlement data from this settlements XLT, from this settlements XML. So what we need to do is sorry, don't say. So what we need to do is we need to rename this settlements XML. So let's rename it, and we've got, as long as it's a different name, it's fine. So this is called what? Realms Forgotten. So we're gonna call this RF settlements. So now we have a RF settlements XML and a settlements XLT. Let's go back in. We need to reference this file into our make a node for it. So we're gonna go back into our let's go back into our submodule. Okay, I never saved everything here, so we're gonna go ahead and delete all this crap out again. Change this back to 1.7.1. Let's add us another node for the other XML. So we're gonna go ahead and just copy this little node right here. I like to leave extra spaces and stuff, so it's clear to see what's going on. So we're just gonna add us another node in here just like this. If you got Visual Studio, it'll let you know if there's any XML issues with syntax down here. So you see we have no problem. So we have settlements in the settlements, and we also need to have another path to settlements in the RF settlements. So now that we have these two nodes, that's all we should need for it to read our settlements only from our RF map module. So now that we got this set up, let's go ahead and save. So our submodule is saved. So that is all we need to do right there. So now we're in business now. We could apply, if we was to go into the native game, we could apply the if we say, if I go in here right now, play the game. If I apply this Aurelia map fix, you want to make sure that this module is right after. If I Aurelia map fix, it needs to be the next module right after. So right now, if we loaded the main game, all our main map and all our settlements wouldn't be coming from native at all. It would be coming completely from this RF map module. It's the exact same as native, so you wouldn't be able to tell a difference. But it's pulling no data from the for the main map or any of the settlements, any of the owners, any of the cultures. All that stuff's getting pulled from the module right now if we start the game. But we don't want to do that right now. We want to make a little change. So what we want to do now, let's go back into our modding tools. Okay, now that we're back in our modding tools, we want to go to the editor again. And we want to open our scene, but we don't want to open the main map scene. We want to open the modded main map scene. Don't want to save the scene, of course. And we want to go back to our modules. We want to go back to our RF map. We want to go to our scene object, modded main map, and open this X scene right here. Okay, here we go. This is our data that was stored in our RF module folder module. So here we go. Looks like we're stuck up in Sturgia. I don't know exactly where he wants. We're gonna put a settlement in here, just one custom settlement, maybe a couple of villages. So the number one thing you wanna For a settlement to work, really all you have to worry about is putting it in a place that's been properly nav meshed. You could always edit the nav mesh, but we're not going to do that right now. So what we want to do is if you go over here to this NS navigation mesh thing right here, it'll bring up the nav mesh. We want to go ahead and set it to face, and you do mess with this little opacity thing, and it'll show you all the nav mesh tiles. So what I want to do is let's go ahead and make it a little opaque so we can see what's going on, see where all the settlements are. I want to find a place on the map where there isn't really any settlements, but it's been nav meshed. So there's plenty of room in here. So there's a lot of space over here to add stuff. If you wanted to add stuff down in here, uh, if it see if you click on the actual, let's go so we can kind of we'll see a little bit more. If you click on the actual tile, it'll tell you, where some of these blue ones are labeled 7. These are mountains. They're non-navigable. But these right here labeled 2. These are desert. So we could put a settlement right here if we wanted to. Anywhere. I mean, I got the codes kind of memorized right now, but that's what you're looking at is places. Of course, these mountains you can't walk on. These forests, you could put something in the forest if you wanted to. Desert. These ones that are 5, this is steppy. So you could put something in the steppy if we wanted to. Let's see. This is still steppy way over here in these mountains. So we could put a settlement right over here in the steppy on this little hill right here if we want to. Yeah, let's do that. This looks like a good enough spot right here. It's kind of secluded. We don't have to re-nav mesh it. Let's see if you kind of make it, you'll see this little spot right here looks like a good spot. So right here is probably as good as any. So what we want to do next to clone a settlement, we want to just pick a settlement. We just need any settlement. It's easy to do. How about I just see. Since we don't have any custom lords in this module, everything's native right now. We're just going to leave the owner of the settlement as the same. So just to kind of make it stand out, let's get something that's going to stand out once we load the main map. So let's go. How about let's go get us a Valandian. Hey, let's put us a Valandian settlement. Let's go way over here to Valandia. Pick one that's going to look good out there in the middle of Steppy. Steppy. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. This looks like a good flat one right here. This flat. Yeah, this will probably work. I think. Let's go ahead and do this. So what you do is okay. We're still in the nav mesh, so let's go ahead and. Okay, so we've finally gotten to the point where we can select this campaign icon capsule. It looks like things is a little bit different now. So okay, so this actually set up in capsules. So they actually changed a little bit of the map. But once we click into this capsule, this campaign icon capsule, what we want to look for is the town V1. Let's see. This is the town V1. It's got a bunch of stuff inside there. So what we want to do is let's go click on this town V1. Let's go ahead and duplicate. And it'll automatically see, I think it always adds it to the end. Let's see where it puts it. Okay, we'll put it in this same capsule. But what we want to do is click on it. And now that it's selected, this our duplicate V1, let's go ahead and go over here, go back to where we was at. Yeah, these little capsule things are new. They just must have just recently added that. To kind of, keep everything in kind of packages. So, where was we going? We was going right over here, I believe. Just to make sure our nav mesh is still good right over here for us to do this. Okay, anything over here is good. Say this is 5, this is 5. Okay, all this space, this little spot right here is good. So let's go ahead and get out of here again. Go back and click on our town V1. And once you clicked on that icon, if you come over here and point your clicker, you can match T and then P, and boom, this town V1. See, if you could click on this one, it's not there. But if you click on this one, boom, it's there. So we have moved this copy of this settlement right here. So let's go ahead and just kind of get the orientation and everything right. Let's see, I think it'll probably look better if we kind of rotate this thing around. If you click on the settlement and match R. Okay, hold on. Hold on, I'm gonna go ahead and do the TP thing again so it gets flat. And then once you clicked on the settlement, if you match R, then you click on this little thing, it'll rotate it around. Let's see if it looks a little bit better right there. Let's kind of click off so we can see. I think that looks pretty good. Let's look at the back, make sure there ain't nothing. I could probably go in here and just see. Let's just go ahead and go in here. I'm just gonna kind of let's just build up over here so it looks a little bit better. Let's go to the actual elevation, rise. So once you go to elevation and go to rise, it'll bring up this little thing. Let's try to just build up a little bit of land over here around it, so there ain't no big old gaps. So we could get on in here and try to do some stuff too, but yeah, I just don't want it to be no gas. And let's go ahead and smooth this out a little bit so it don't look so clunky. Oh man, when you do something crazy, just go to edit and go to undo, and it'll take you back where you was at. It won't flatten. I want it to be smooth. So let's just kind of smooth this out just a little bit so it don't look so gross. Okay. Okay, now that we got a settlement, a brand new settlement placed, let's go ahead and get out of here. I don't want this to be in this capsule. So what I want to do is see if I could detach from parent. Okay, now that I've detached it from parent, it dropped all the way down to the bottom of the list and it's a separate entity now. Now we got a town V1 sitting over here by itself down in the way southeastern corner of Kuzate land. But this isn't all you have to do. What you have to do now is, it's kind of lopsided, but yeah, let's go ahead and try to, I don't know why it looks so lopsided. Let's go ahead and try to get it. I hate to do this after I've already got it kind of. Sometimes the point click thing don't always work. Make sure everything else still looks good. It's good for now. I think let's just look at it again just to make sure it don't look crazy lots. Okay, it's not perfect, but I think it's okay. So now that we got our settlement in here, and here's our town, we got it separated from that capsule. It's by itself. It's one thing. The problem is, it's the exact same town ID as the original town V1. So we need to give it a new ID. So what we want to do is let's go into our settlements. We want to go back into our module data. Go back into our RF map. We want to go back into our module data. Let's go into our RF settlements, XML. And since we had a castle, what was that? Town V1. Let's go ahead and find Town V1, and we're gonna make a copy in the actual XML. So I think the landing's down here near toward the bottom. So we'll get there. Okay. So it's Town V1, and it's the town of Sargo. So what we want to do is make a copy of this right here. Okay, from settlement, always opening hashtag to closing hashtag, all that data right there is the information for a new settlement. So what we want to do is copy this, and we'll go ahead and put it down at the bottom. Let's go down to the bottom, below all these hideouts, and let's just add us a new settlement in here. So we're just gonna I like to leave gaps so I can see where my stuff start. So now that we got this in here, let's go ahead and since this is the very first town for Realms Forgotten, let's just call this RF. Let's hold on. Call this RF Town 1. RF Town 1. Let's just call this. I mean, he could go in here and change his name anytime. We're just going to call this Realms Forgotten for now. Call this Realms Forgotten. We're going to leave it with Valandia Clan 1, and we'll leave it as a culture of Valandia. Everything is fine since we don't have any custom lords or anything in here, but we do have to change the coordinates. So the next thing we need to do is get our coordinates and put it in this XML. Let's go back to our actual town. Going to click off. Let's go back to our town V1. Once you click on the town V1, you have your town highlighted. You right click and you go to inspect. And we want to change this to the ID of our new town. I think we did RF town _1. Just make sure that's right. RF town _1. Yeah. So we changed the name to RF town _1. And these are our new positional coordinates. So what we want to do is take our X coordinate, copy, change our X coordinate right here, paste it in right here, and go back. Let's take our Y coordinates, go back to our settlements XML, put in our Y coordinates. There's one more step, and that is the gate position. So in order to get the gate position right, we need to get those also. So let's go back to our map. Let's go ahead and get out of this. To get the gate position, now that we go to our RF town, just kind of expand it, and you just have to go down to where it says town gate. And once you click on town gate, you can move this gate wherever you want to if you want to, but we just want to inspect this town gate. So here's our new town gate coordinates. We want to go in here and copy this. Go back into our RF settlements XML, and then find the gate position X. Push that in there. Go back to our map again, get our Y coordinates. Copy. Put this in here too. Let's put our Y coordinates for our gate. All right, so there you go. This is all you need to do to put a settlement in here. There's one more thing I forgot. You want to have the components of the town change. You need to give a custom ID to this town ID right here also. So we're going to kind of follow the same format they have. Just kind of call it comp. So let's just call this RF _town _1 _ comp. This is how I set mine up. So yeah, if you forget this, it'll screw up. So you have to change both these IDs right here. So that's everything you need to do right there to duplicate a settlement, rename it, and put it on the map somewhere. The coordinates, a settlement ID, and a component town ID in the XML. We go ahead and save this right here. That's all good. And before I'm gonna go ahead and save right now, because these mod tools can be a pain in the ass. So we're gonna go ahead and just save the scene, and it should automatically save it straight to your module. Right where you loaded it, it should automatically save it to. So we're just gonna make sure it saves good. You always want to save a lot when you're messing with these maps, because it does crash a lot or it has errors. So you don't want to do a bunch of work before you save. You want to save pretty much after every settlement you add. So that's it. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna add one little village, just to show you a village. Most towns have 3 or 4 villages. You could do the same thing for the same thing I do for one village. You could do it for all of them. So we're just gonna do one right now, just this video. It's the longest video in the history of man. So yeah, let's see how long it's taking to save. Hopefully okay. So our scene modded main map has been saved successfully. So good. So at least that part of the process is done. So what we want to do now is let's go ahead and get us a village. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Valandian village. It could be any village as long as you have it linked to this settlement. So let's just go ahead and just copy. Well, let's just make it right, just so it matches the town. We'll head way back over here to the Valandian territory. That was the town of Sargo. So we're just gonna pick one of his villages. He's the ID for this was I believe it was V1, town V1. So this is village V1 right here. Okay, so now we got village V1. Let's go ahead and go do the same process. Click on village V1, right click, duplicate, and now that we have two village a village V1 here and a village V1 up here, we want to take that village and go to detach from uh, detach from parent, and it should have just added to the very end. So now we have a village V1 on top of the other village V1 sitting right here, and it's always all the way back at the end. So now that it's selected, we'll go back all the way back to our new town. Making our way across Calradia to our brand new town. And as always, you want to make sure you put your village in a place that has navigation mesh. Let's just check it out. Looks like we got plenty of space anywhere in here for a village. So let's go ahead and go back in here. Make sure our map. Okay, we got our duplicate village done. So let's go ahead and just stick it right here. Of course, you put your clicker where you want it. Hit T, hit P, boom. It'll go ahead and snap that village to where it's at. It don't look too bad. Maybe it could go up just a hair. Let's raise it just a little bit. There you go. We got the village there. Now we have us a village. So we got a village out here with our castle. It's the same type deal. We have a village V1. We want to go to the inspect, so it brings up the data for it. We need to put an entry for this new village in the XML. So we're gonna go back to our RF settlements XML. Let's roll back up to our Valandian crap. Valandian town 1. Here it is. Here's the data for village V1 1. We're gonna go ahead and copy this data. Going down here to the bottom of our XML, add it. We're gonna call this, give this thing a new ID. It has to have its own ID. RF, we're gonna call it RF. I don't know how my cap lock is getting on. RF town 1. This is how this format I do mine. You can do whatever format you town 1, village 1, village 1. That's the format I usually use. And of course we need to change this ID too. So we can go ahead and just copy this one. Here we got our town 1, village 1, and we're just naming it comp. Kind of just stay with the format of that. Let's just call this thing. The town's called Realms Forgotten, so we're just gonna call this Forgotten Village. Okay. So and another thing you need to do, you have to bind this new settlement to the town of choice. So we need to take our ID from our settlement right here. And right here in the trade bound, we want to put this right here. We want to put in our new ID, RF Town 1, and then bound. This is where it's actually bound to. We want to change it right here also. So now our new village is bound to our town. Everything's good. Everything's set up right in here. All we need to do is change the coordinates and change the stuff on the map. So we need to go back to our map, get the coordinates out of this for our new village. Let's change the ID first. RF town 1, village 1. I believe that's what I called it. And take our coordinates, go back to our right here, and for villages it's just one set of coordinates, so that's good. Paste our coordinates and our Y coordinates. Okay, so this is everything we have to do in the XML. Let's go ahead and I think it all looks good, so let's go ahead and save this XML. And let's go ahead and hopefully our scene saves good. Let's go ahead and save our scene. Okay, our scene has saved successfully. So let's go ahead and get out of our modding tools. The only thing left to do now is to go into game and see if it works. So we're gonna go into game and see if it works. Okay, we have successfully got into the game. Let's see if our new village is down here in town. Check it out. Now we have the Realms Forgotten, and we have the Forgotten Village in the game. Of course, it's still owned by Valandian people because we didn't change the culture or we didn't change the owner. But that's how you add a settlement to the game. We're gonna go ahead and just go ahead and just walk in there and make sure everything is going good with it. Uh, I haven't even played. I haven't played native in so long. It's crazy. I'm not going to play it either. I play my mod when I do. A few times I do get to play, I'm always wanting to play my mods because I'm testing for bugs and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see the native map again for the first time in like a year. So first spot is, let's go ahead and let's check out our village. Let's see if we can get to our village first. Make sure everything goes good with it. Boom, we're able to select it. All good. Let's make sure we can go into our town. Here it goes. Realms Forgotten. There we go. All good. Well, that's pretty much it. That's an introduction to making your own map module and putting stuff on it. From here, you could you can delete the native terrain, delete the native Vista texture to get rid of all this color and stuff. Import your own height map. Import your own Vista map. Import your own Vista normal. You could move all your settlements the same way I showed you. You could add as many settlements as you want. All that good stuff. This is just a start. So thank you guys for watching. Until next time.